If you look at the wipers and the wiper arms, these are the original wiper arms that came with the car, and I'm going to upgrade them to the wiper arms from the Audi B7 A4, and they were also used on the Audi A6 C5. And this one still has the original aero vane here on the wiper arm to help it not shudder at high speed, but unfortunately these wipers shudder anyway, and the aero wipers are just quieter and they wipe better as well. Now, I have fitted these to one of my previous cars, and that was a 1992 Audi 100 as it's known overseas, but here it was called an Audi 500. And it was a metallic blue one, really nice looking car. And the reason I know that these wipers will fit this car is because I did it to that car. So I'm going to do this conversion today, but before I fit the new wipers, I'm going to first change the cabin air filter, because it stinks when I turn the AC on in the car, and I can smell that it hasn't been changed in a really, really long time. So we got to just pop the hood. And just some feedback on my first video on this car. I showed you guys the engine. There was a lot of oil around here, and the reason why is because the valve cover gasket was leaking, and it turned out that the valve cover screws were loose, and that is why it was leaking. So Audi did a very good job of cleaning everything up. They also fitted new struts and strut mountings to the car. And there, I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but there are new struts, and there are new bellows in here with new strut mountings up here as well. So these are the new strut mountings that were fitted, and the old ones were so badly worn that they were rattling while driving and making a hell of a noise. What I've got to do is get this plastic housing here unclipped, and we can then remove this. What this reveals is the pollen filter box over there, and in order to get to the filter, we first have to remove the wipe arms. So the first thing we've got to do is get these caps off so that we can reveal. See, this cap wasn't even fitting properly, but we are going to reveal the nuts. These nuts are actually 13 mils, and they're not very tight. Usually wiper nuts are extremely tight. And just get that off. So both of them have a washer lying in there. We just need to get the washer out. Okay, it helps if you press down, and then it will come off. Now we just need to undo these bolts over here, over there. So to get those off, you need some sort of hexagonal tool, and I don't know what size this is. It doesn't say in my toolbox what size it is, but I'm just going to get these off, and they're not very big. They're quite small, and they have a washer as well built onto them. 4 bolts that need undoing, and then we should be able to get this thing out of the way. Now what I'm going to try and do is pull it, just dislodge it, and keeping in mind the window washer goes behind this piece over here, the window washer hose. So when I put it back, I'm just going to make sure I get that in there as well. And then this looks like it clips in to the shroud. And we just need to get all the clips off. And now this can come out. My car does not have a pollen filter or a cabin air filter. This is usually where it would sit, and there are 3 screws that you undo and then you just slide it out. But I've put my hands behind here and the AC evaporator core is sitting there, so I'm not gonna mess with this. It's pointless. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean the windshield. I want to get the vacuum. There are some leaves sitting way inside here which I want to just vacuum out. Now the new wiper arms are not going to fit on these spindles because these are a little more narrow than the B7 and the C5. So I'm going to be using plastic shims in order to pull this off and then really tightening the bolts. And it did work before on both my Audi A4 as well as my old Audi C4. So this is what the new wiper arms look like, and I got a set of new wipers for them, and the part number is 4B2955425C. If you left-hand drive, then it'll be 4B1955425C. And I'm going to clip the blades onto the arms to make sure that that metal doesn't hit the windshield. But these are the shims I use. Now these are just ferrules for household water pipes to strengthen the joins of water pipes in your house. And I can't remember what size they are. This vane has to be facing the front of the car because it deflects the wind, and the wind hits it and makes sure that it stays on the windshield. You've got to fit it this way, and these little things on the wipers are shaped in a specific way to fit in there, and then you just slide this piece over that and clip it in place. And that one is on the wiper arm now. Right, so if we get the wiper onto the spindle, there's too much space here. It's just not going to fit. It doesn't even go onto the splines. But with this thing inserted in here, it fits really snug. And then we just cut the one end off. You can see just how much you need to cut off. And we don't want this part, the big part with the rubber seal. We just want the plastic. And this will then go on the spindle, and it will keep the wiper in its place. So I've taken quite a bit off the original, and I just need to get it on there so that I can get the wiper down. And not only that, I need to make sure the wiper is lined up properly. And we just got to push it down like that. This side of the washer was actually facing down, so I'm putting it back the way it was on the car, to begin with. And now we can start tightening and get it all the way down. So that's the driver's side done. Now I'm just going to do the passenger side. I've got them on the car. I guess it's moment of truth now. Let's do a check and see. And the driver's side one is stopping in just the right place. And wow, these wipers wipe really, really clean. Very, very happy with that. And I think we are done with the wipers. Now, since I couldn't fit a cabin filter to the car, I'm definitely going to fit a air filter to the car, because I know it has one. But I'm just going to peel out the air filter. And what I did is I got a Bosch one, and the part number on here, the Bosch part number is that. So if any of you are wanting to fit one to your car, that's the number. And I'll put a link to the website below where I got all the parts for my car, because it's going in for its major service at Audi Center before the end of the month. And this PCV valve is in the way here, so we can get that seated in nicely, get the airbox back in its place. So I've ordered quite a lot of parts for the car, and it's going to have a cam belt change as well as transmission fluid. It has already had an oil change. It did have an oil change when it was out of Audi recently. Right, so that is it. I have the windshield wipers on, and I have the air filter in. I just want to show you guys a closer view of how the wipers are sitting. And I'm just going to put the hood down. Just make sure I got everything out. But that's how they look on the car. And yes, the edge of the wiper is touching the cowl, but that is what it is. And they are at least wiping very nicely. So inside, I haven't really done much to the car. I'm going to have the windows tinted with smash and grab, and that I'll have both of my Audis done at the same time. And when you live in this country, you do need smash and grab. I just put that on there because it seems everyone who drives this car doesn't realize you need to push the gear shift down in order to select a gear, as well as tramp the foot brake. So I don't know why people don't know that. It's a crinkle shift and it's just a standard shift. So Yeah, I think the next thing will be the big service for the car, and right now I don't have the engine running, but that's the mileage on it. So I've done about 300 kilometers with the car so far since I've had it, and it's running very well. It's running really, really nicely. Even the transmission has become smoother after all the suspension stuff has been sorted out. But I'm going to have the transmission serviced anyway. So a lot of things will be done mechanically on the car, and then when I'm done with that, I'm going to replace the head unit if I can. I'm not sure if I can, because if you take this face off, there's a little light that flashes in there, and it's a security feature. So I've heard that once you change the radio, the OEM radio, and this is an OEM radio, it looks aftermarket, but it is an OEM radio, it was fitted by the factory. If you change them, then you can't communicate with the OBD2 of the car. Now this car doesn't have an OBD2, it's got the old VAS connectors, but you get a dongle which you can plug in to the 2 pin connectors under the hood, and then the other end is an OBD2 dongle, so you can use the latest equipment on diagnosing the car. So the car still has a rough idle and it tends to hunt, and I think it has a vacuum leak somewhere in the engine, and I'm hoping that they can diagnose that, and hopefully that will sort out the emissions issue as well, because the car's still running very rich. Not running as rich as it was before the air filter was cleaned out. But now with a brand new air filter, hopefully it will be a little bit better. And I'm hoping that the air is going to smell a lot better coming through the air vents as well. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to say adios and leave you guys with some nice shots of the car.